This is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks, where we review movies. Love them or hate them, someone's got to do it. So enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm April.
And this is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
And anything else that gets in the mix.
So, April.
Happy Christmas!
Happy Christmas. What are we, British?
Merry New Year?
Yeah, British people say Happy Christmas.
I say it sometimes.
Are you British?
Are you Hispanic? We ate on the border.
No.
Well,
I'm
then.
not. Just, making polite conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh. Trying to ask somebody if you can't just ask people if they're British.
I'm just saying, just because it's a common saying, like, just because they say that,
Yeah.
does it mean, like, I'm saying it because I'm pretending to be them?
I didn't think you were pretending. I was just asking. Are you British?
No, I was trying to change it up.
Ah, gotcha.
Hasn't that, like that?
You're keeping me on my toes.
Like, everyone always says Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes I say Merry Sithmas,
Okay.
because of Star Wars. And sometimes I say Happy Christmas and a Merry New Year.
All right.
All right.
I feel you.
Okay.
It's allowed. So today is a Christmas episode day.
Yes, it is.
And while we were watching, I could tell that this is not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
But this is one of my favorite Christmas movies, or of a Christmas Carol version. It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
The only other one that I like just as much, or maybe more, is A Diva's Christmas Carol. But we're reviewing A Flintstones Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that these two are the best ones of all the Christmas carols. There's so many different ones. And I just happen to like these two tellings of the story.
For me, the Christmas Carol, it's just like, I don't really care for that story. The best part, is I am the ghost of Christmas yet to come. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And then the whole why it's Christmas Day, sir.
So if you were visited by three ghosts, which one would you want to be visited by? Past, present, or future?
Future. I've already lived through the past. I already know what's happening in the present. Show me something I don't know.
Do you think being visited by three ghosts, would that change you?
The future one will. I can't change the past. I could still do something about the present.
Yeah.
But seeing the future will kind of get me there too. So
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Like, hey, this is what you did in the past. Well, yeah, I know. I was there.
yeah.
But maybe on retrospect, you might be like, oh, I was kind of a dick. I didn't realize how much of a dick I was. Though in every telling of A Christmas Carol, he's never a dick, or she is never a dick in the past. They were always nice in the very past, but they're more future past. They were kind of...
They're present-y past.
Yeah, they're kind of become the Scrooge that they've become. So it's like, what changed? What happened? It was just the death of your friend, sister, brother, whatever that changed you.
And you can't change that.
Yeah, people die all the time.
I know. You can't change that. Yeah. So that's why the future, at this point, the future is more important.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I think the ghost. Okay, I guess it's because of A Diva's Christmas Carol. I like the past one better.
But you've already lived through that.
I know. That was my. I never really liked the future one.
Of course, that's what gets you to change. You die.
Because even like Ghosts of Christmas, Girls of. Oh my good God, I cannot speak. The one with Matthew McConaughey, where it's all of his ex-girlfriends. Emma Stone is his like ghost of girlfriends past. And she's with him throughout almost basically the whole movie. And I always liked her best. And then they have like the people from the future. It's okay. It's not my favorite. Something about the past ghost I always liked the most.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at my past. Like, I have my memories.
Yeah.
You know, I've already lived through that and I have my memories. So, like, what is the ghost doing? Just bringing it live action.
Yeah. It's showing you what you did before.
But if it was a dicky move, why would I want to relive that? That's just messed up on that ghost. Like,
well, it's just showing you what led you to be where you are now and what can be.
I need to know the future. Okay, there's only one ghost.
Actually, the ghost of his partner, Marley, is probably the most important one because that's the one that sets the table for all the other ghosts. You know, he's the one saying, hey, look, this will be your future if you don't correct the things that you're doing wrong now. And that's an important lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say. So one of the reasons why I like this one is because it's not only...
It's a story in a story.
Yeah, it's a story within a story. So basically, for those who don't know it...
Did we say what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Fred Flintstone is in the community play, and he is playing the part of Scrooge, and he is being a Scrooge himself.
A class act.
Yeah. He's definitely... oh, God, what is that when you're...
Conceited?
No.
Self-centered?
No, when you're...
Over the top?
No. No, a method actor.
Inflated head, ego?
No, he's being a method actor. So he's living the part. He's breathing the part.
No, I thought it's more of a, he's just so, well,
consumed.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, he's like acting as the Scrooge and acting out the Scrooge every day, all day long.
Yeah.
And he has neglected his friends, his family, his daughter. At one point, he drops off his daughter at daycare and she's like, kiss daddy, hug daddy. And he just leaves her and she starts to cry. And you're like, oh, Pebbles. But then she's instantly happy when she sees Bam Bam. And
that's how kids are.
Yeah. She's very resilient. But his wife is not happy. She is very mad.
She is overly stressed.
Yes, because she is the producing the play, and everybody starts to come down with the bedrock bug, which is like the flu on steroids, and they're losing people left and right. And so while the play is going on, she's having to take over all these parts. So at the beginning of the movie, she's having to sew all the costumes, which I was like, okay, they've been doing this for a couple months and you're just now making costumes. It's the day of the play. I was like, come on. Like, you're behind, clearly. And so he goes to work, and as he's going to work, he's not really paying attention to his job.
Mm-hmm.
He's running lines, and their boss, he wanted to be Scrooge. And
everyone didn't want to give him that part because they were like, oh, well, we don't want to typecast you.
Right.
He was like, what? And so then he tries to be nice. He's like, okay, everyone can leave after lunch or only work half a day. And they're like, but we'll still get a full day's pay, right? And he's like, yeah, just to show that I'm not Scrooge.
And then Fred's like, no, I am. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, because Barney went, that's what I couldn't think of Barney's name. When his boss was like, yeah, I could have been Scrooge. And he goes, yeah, that's hitting a little too close to home or something similar to that. And I thought, good one, Barney. So let's see here. So Fred has also forgotten about Christmas.
Oh, yeah. I don't see how.
Yeah. And so, I mean, he's only doing a play about Christmas, but, he forgot it existed.
And he should have known that it's playing Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So he shows up at the mall on Christmas Eve after getting off of work early. Mm-hmm. And before he was scheduled to pick up his daughter that he completely forgot about.
Yes.
And he buys this dress off of the mannequin. Yeah. And apparently they sell him the mannequin and the wig.
Right? Yeah. And the jewelry. It was very strange.
Well, he asked for the jewelry. Yeah. So I get that. But like, you also gave him the mannequin and the wig. Mm-hmm. And then he buys like some little toy, for Pebbles. And then he gets in line to gift wrap. And I'm like, bitch, gift wrap this yourself. Right? He's number like 100,
Yeah, you have 2 items. You couldn't put them in bags or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then later on, he has this whole stack of presents. I was like, where'd the other presents come from? Mm-hmm. Maybe that was off scene. He added more to it and we just didn't see it.
Perhaps. Either ways, he basically cons a little kid into like gift wrapping his gifts, which I'm assuming it's free gift wrapping. That's why there's such a long line.
Could be. And the kid is in his play and he didn't even recognize him.
Yeah. Anyway, so he goes back and he's just, like he played a great Scrooge though.
Yeah, he was really good.
All that practice acting like really paid off. He was an excellent Scrooge. He doesn't realize that he forgot Pebbles until he gets, there. And Wilma is like, you forgot about Pebbles, which I understand. Like, that's a huge, huge, huge deal.
Yeah.
You forgetting your kid. But I really feel at that moment that if you're going to be that mad and that upset, then you just need to leave.
Yeah.
Take your kid and go. Because if you're still there to work on this play, then there's no reason why he shouldn't still be there working for this play. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're that dedicated to see all your hard work through, then you need to just like hold it in until you get home.
Right.
But if this is so upsetting and you are so mad and so pissed off, which I completely understand.
Yeah.
You just need to grab the kid and ask Fred to come with you. And if he doesn't want to, then you need to leave. But there was no reason for this hostility to be so evident, at least on stage. Backstage is one thing, but on stage, like when you're trying to do your lines with him, either you're there or you're not.
My thing is they're neighbors with Barney and Wilma or Betty.
Uh-huh.
And they were picking up their son and bringing him to the theater. Mm-hmm. Why did Fred have to pick up Pebbles anyways? They could have just picked up Pebbles with Bam Bam and bring her to the theater like they were going to. So really, that was just a stupid plot point in a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it wasn't necessary. I understand why you would be mad because you asked him to pick her up. I get that.
yeah.
But you've also seen how he's been acting and you didn't say anything until today.
Like, if anything, you should have called him at work to remind him, like, hey, don't forget to pick up Pebbles.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was just like that. I mean, it's kind of on you, Wilma.
Yeah. And the thing is like, I think he was supposed to be at rehearsal at the theater at 4.
Yeah.
Was it the same time? So let's say he forgot Pebbles and he shows up at the theater at 4 p.m., the time you were supposed to pick up Pebbles. Like, wouldn't you see him there and be like, what are you doing here? I thought you were supposed to pick up Pebbles.
Yeah.
So that way he's really only like, I don't know how far away that is. Like, 10, 15, 20 minutes late picking her up.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either.
Like, whatever.
And then he almost missed the start time of the play because he was shopping.
Yep.
Let's see here. So he almost gets a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
Because he's paying attention to his lines, and a cop pulls him over and lets him go because he's also in the play. So when the play starts, we see Barney playing Crockett. Crockett? I don't know.
Me.
He's playing his assistant, and he has little icicles on his nose because Scrooge keeps it so cold so he doesn't have to spend money.
He counts the coal. He's like, you didn't use my coal. He's like, no, sir, I haven't burnt anything since yesterday.
Yeah. He's like freezing to death. Have you ever worked in a place that's that cold?
Not that cold. Like, I mean, sweaters.
So when I worked for a photography place, we would edit photos. And as we were sitting there, like, we were in a warehouse that was basically just concrete. So in the summer, it was really hot. But in the winter, it was very cold. And this particular winter was a time when it snowed a few times. And so we'd be in there and we're like having to put gloves on and have space heaters. You weren't allowed to
like bring your own space heater?
Well, we did. But, you can only have them either down below at your feet or up at your face. So like our hands, if your hand was out, it would be freezing cold. So you'd have to wear gloves, but you needed your tips. So then you'd only have like the finger gloves.
God.
It was pretty cold. There was
How
a lot
long
of times
did you work there?
A year and a half.
Oh, so you saw 2 seasons? When did you start?
I started in October.
Oh, so you got 2 Christmases?
Yeah. It was crazy. But yeah, it was really cold in there. And then the next place I worked after that, it was the same thing. It was in a warehouse as well. The rest of the place was in a building, just like everybody in the first place. They were in like an office, but we were out in the warehouse.
Okay. So when it comes to cold, right? I think I've experienced cold here, but that's more of like, I'm too cold to get up and like turn on the heater cold, so you suffer until you can't suffer anymore. And then you get up and you turn on the heater. So that's not real suffering.
Yeah.
But like real suffering was like in New York. It hadn't blizzard in years. And of course, the year that I moved there, it's the first blizzard in like forever. And I lived on the 3rd floor of a brownstone, and my landlord was so cheap. Like up there in New York, like people buy oil.
Yeah.
Okay. You buy oil for like your furnace. Okay. And so my landlord who lived on the first floor, like it would be freezing. And like he oh my God. Okay. Like he would have the heat like so low, like it kept you alive type heating. And he would say, oh, well, heat rises. You should be really warm up there. I'll never forget when he said that. And I'm just like, I'm so cold. I am like right next to the I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's
radiator.
Yes, the radiator. I am next to the radiator, but the radiator is next to the windows.
Yeah.
You know, and oh my God, I bought a space heater. Okay. I bought a space heater and I plugged it in and the power went out. It like short circuited and I was dying. It was so cold. I had on all of like my sweats, my jacket, all of the blankets I had, which, you know, wasn't that many.
Yeah.
And I remember I would like cover myself up completely in the head so that my own breath would like try to warm up my body.
So 2 times I have been that cold. So the one time obviously was when Texas was frozen and we had no power. I have never been colder in my life inside of a building than I was in our house when we didn't have power for 28 hours. That was the coldest I've ever been.
Yeah, you definitely win because at least I had some heating. You had no hope.
No.
You had no hope.
Yeah, and our fireplace, which we could have used, but it is an electric fireplace and our power was out. So there was nothing we could do. No, on Flintstones, Meet the Flintstones, they have to like use their feet.
Yeah.
But they don't wear shoes.
No.
And it's snowy.
Yeah. I must say, obviously I watched the Flintstones as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and as a kid, you just accept the world as it's presented to you. You generally don't question it.
Yeah.
And obviously I know what this is. I know this is a make-believe world. But I was just, as I was watching this, I was just wondering what the creator was thinking. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I just mean that in a creative way. Like, I'm sure he came up with this concept and he sold it to the higher ups and they're like, yeah, sure, let's do a prehistoric show for the kids. And he's like, cool. And so then, you know, sometimes when you come up with an idea, you only really come up with like a few trinkets. And just imagine like somebody said, yeah, go for it. And then they're like, oh shit, I have to come up with this whole world. You know, it's like, okay, I need a lamp. What am I going to do for a lamp? Fireflies.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh my God, I need to sew. I'm going to use a pterodactyl. You know, it's like it's winter time and it's like, oh man, obviously they need something warm, but I don't want to completely cover them up because then it's not very prehistoric and caveman-y. And they're like, I will just give them a scarf. And like, instead of long sleeves, I'll just give them little cuffs.
Yeah.
You know, like where do you decide like, I'm only going to give them earmuffs, you know,
right?
like the decision making is just like, was it the artiste who was like, dude, I'm not drawing all that shit. They're in the Stone Age, you know, like I don't know.
Yeah, because as we were watching it, I was like, it's so creative, the different things they come up with, because like they were doing tickets, but their tickets are made out of stone. And so they have like a little bird that cuts, like is able to peck through these little pieces of stone to cut off the ticket. And I was like, that's so creative. And then they go to blooming shells. as their store, and they have a little like stone credit card, which if you were to drop it, I feel like would just shatter everywhere. So that seems unpractical. But like what's so funny is how creative and up to date all the different things they have in the Flintstones. But then the Flintstones were made around the same time as the Jetsons, and the Jetsons are supposed to be so fancy and like, you know, futuristic, and they have all the same kind of things as the Flintstones do, but it's like futuristic.
Sleeker. It's sleeker.
Yeah. But it's the same kind of stuff.
So one of my favorite movies is when the Jetsons meet the Flintstones.
Yes.
I love that movie so much.
I have to do that sometime because I do love that.
Yes.
I love the Jetsons. I like their little cars and all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
George Jetson.
Okay, so when the Flintstones was first coming on, you started to sing the song.
Flintstones.
All I could think about was The Simpsons. Homer Simpson, he's the greatest guy in history. From the town of Springfield, he's about to hit a chestnut tree.
Oh, is that from something?
It's from The Simpsons. He was like driving and then like he's not paying attention. Then he crashes into a chestnut tree.
Oh,
I love it. So anytime I think of the Flintstones theme song, I think of The Simpsons.
interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Let's see here. Oh, so they have this little boy who is the one that wraps all of his gifts for him. But he's in the play, and he is the only one in the entire play that has a Cockney accent, which is weird.
Hello there, Governor.
Yeah, because nobody else does, and that's not his voice. And so I was just like, oh, why? What was the choice there?
Why, it's Christmas Day, sir.
Yeah, that's...
Please, sir,
Blimey.
may I have some more?
It's like, oh, Christmas Day is supposed to be fun. And I was just like, whose choice was that?
Jolly good day, sir.
You think he just like came up with it, or the director was like, hey, you little boy,
Hey, you there.
have a weird accent that hasn't been invented yet.
I never thought about that. It hasn't been invented yet.
You know? So interesting.
Again, like the person who created this is like, what do they decide to put in the TV show and not? You know, it's like, yeah, they should have credit cards, but we're going to make them out of stone. You know, like, do they have internet? Like, where is that connection going?
I don't know.
If anything, it should have been checks. You know, I can understand a check.
Yeah.
But you need a phone. Like, well, do they have phones? Right?
That is interesting. Why didn't they have checks where they have to like chisel out the check as they're standing at the counter? Oh, goodness. How hard would that be? I like that even Dino has a role in the play.
Oh,
Actually, he has two roles. He plays a dog
and the ghost.
and a ghost. My sister was like, why does it have a tail? And I was like, you'll see. I didn't want to give it away. You know, wanted there to be some magic left. But he makes Dino sad at one point.
He's always mean to Dino, though.
He really is.
At least that's how I remember it.
What's their beef? Why does he have such beef with this dog?
Maybe he never wanted the dog.
You know what? Now that you mention the Simpsons song, wonder if they got some of the characteristics for Homer Simpson from Fred Flintstone.
So as I was watching Barney and Fred, I noticed they had the outline for like their beard.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I can't think of anybody else other than Homer having an outline for his beard.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else has a round beard like that.
Yeah. And Homer and their dog,
Santa's Little Helper.
yeah, Santa's. I was like, I know it's holiday related. They don't get along either. I mean, there's a lot of times where they don't get along.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that was kind of a blueprint.
I did notice a lot of
similarities.
Yeah, mannerisms that Homer has may have originated from Fred.
Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of the people that used to draw those cartoons worked over or maybe they were like
probably the kids. They were watching that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like some of them were assistants on, Flintstone stuff, and then they moved over and graduated and became their own drawers at The Simpsons.
When did the Flintstones come out? The 70s?
Something like that.
So then a young kid out of college drawing for The Simpsons.
Late 80s, right?
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
So, that's about right.
Yeah. They were the kids watching the Flintstones.
So I noticed that Fred probably gets a concussion every 10 minutes in this movie. We never address it, but it's a real thing.
So, mentioning that, could it be possible that the Flintstones are not actually Homo sapiens, but perhaps Neanderthals? Because they have smaller brains.
Maybe.
And that would just mean that they would have a thicker skull with more membrane to protect their brain.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's not like a huge disparity in size, but it is, smaller.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about it.
Okay.
I mean, I know we're Homo sapiens, but I don't know anything about
Neanderthals or the Devotion.
I thought it was Neanderthals.
No. It's been mispronounced for years. It's Neanderthals. At least that's how Hank Green pronounces it. He pronounces it Neanderthal.
Wait a minute.
Neanderthals.
Hank Green, isn't that from
Sideshow, TikTok,
Oh,
Vlogbrothers,
for some reason I heard Hank and I was thinking
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, and I was like,
Yep.
wait a minute, are we taking our cues from King of the Hill?
No, John Green, Hank Green,
No,
Sideshow,
no.
TikTok.
I know what TikTok is.
Yeah, he's on TikTok. He got into a fight with Elon Musk the other day.
How do you know about that, but you didn't know about how Gen Zers are afraid of
Because
the thumbs up?
I am on Twitter, okay, and I follow.
No, this was everywhere. Even my mom knows about it, so
About
it had
what?
to be everywhere. About this whole thumbs up and okay sign and being very triggering for people.
I missed that.
Like if it got to my mom, it has to be pretty big because.
Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't on my timeline.
Jeez, April.
It wasn't on Twitter. I didn't notice. Or it happens so fast on Twitter that
Oh, speaking of Twitter,
Twitter.
did you see our blue check mark I added to our Instagram?
Instagram?
Well, okay, I put it on Instagram from our Twitter page. So I screenshotted our Twitter page. I put it into Canva. With Canva, I used a check mark. I painted it blue, made it oversized, put it into Instagram and said, hey, no blue check mark, no problem. Photoshop your own. And yeah, we got some likes on that.
No, I'm not even following the new Twitter handle.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Huh?
I thought you said you made a new Twitter.
No, I used our Twitter.
Oh.
It's on there.
Oh, I could have sworn you said you made a new Twitter.
No, I don't tweet.
Oh, okay.
Why would I
Also,
do a
I
Twitter?
don't have a copy of the new logo. I don't know where it is. I checked the emails.
Oh, okay.
And I tried copying it from Instagram, but like it didn't work.
You mean the one that I put on the shirt?
No, the one on Instagram. Like the new logo.
I haven't changed anything.
You did somewhere. Or the one on the index cards.
Oh, on our business cards?
Yeah, those.
Okay, I'll get that to you
Okay.
so we can change it across the board.
Even though I like the original one. I know you don't like the two-tone colors.
I hate it.
Oh, the only thing I like about the new logo is that it's more scrunched up and it's not so long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just I hated the red and the yellow. Or the red and the white. Really bugged me. Aesthetically, it bugged me. But I liked our first logo and you didn't like it. So here we are. Every a year and a half, we'll switch it.
It's a blend.
Yeah, it's a combo. It's a poo-poo platter, if you will.
No, I will not.
What?
Take your poo-poo platter.
Oh.
That's what you called it.
Yeah, that's what it's called a poo-poo platter.
Yeah, no.
It's where it's like a hodgepodge of different stuff.
I'd rather you call it a hodgepodge than a poo-poo platter.
A charcuterie board of options.
That sounds delicious.
So one thing that bothered me, and I know this is stupid, but because we're talking about the other parts, I'm going to bring it up. So they're inside, right? She's wearing a very scantily clad little dress. Wilma's typical dress, right? Bare shoulders, short skirt. That's what she rocks. It's fine. They have no windows in their house. They have a front door sometimes. And there's snow outside. It has to be cold. What? They don't even have a fire going. And they're just sitting in their house in these tiny outfits, putting earmuffs on their daughter. But the rest of her is uncovered with just this tiny little cloth. What's up with that?
Okay.
Where's their jackets?
So,
Where's their blankets?
there is an interesting study, not a real study. It's called the Forbidden Experiment because you can never actually do it. But I think it was around Marie Antoinette's time, right? It was during or right after the revolution, right? And they call him the Wolf Boy. Basically, they found a kid out in the forest and it was the middle of winter. He wasn't wearing like any clothes or anything and he was just savage. So they took him in and he couldn't talk or communicate. And they found that it was snowing, that the weather wasn't really like affecting him. A few people tried to claim him as his son because they thought because of the revolution that it was his kid, that it was their missing kid, but it turns out it wasn't. They tried to teach the kid, language and it never really got anywhere. In the end, the kid couldn't really go back to wilderness. So he ended up living a life of poverty with like this old woman. But there was another study where there was this other girl who also was basically deprived of language.
Yeah.
And she also did not exhibit, what is it?
Cold tendencies?
It was more like temperature,
Yeah.
climate change type.
Well, so basically they adapted to their atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, like, if you didn't grow up with AC or a heater, you tend to be able to hang out in that kind of climate a little bit better than someone who is mostly an inside person.
Well, not only that, I also saw another thing where houses were just built differently back then. I read this thing about this kid who would, spend summers with grandma down in like Florida.
Yeah.
And her house was built, it was very pointy on the inside so that air would flow. They had high windows, and the house was the way that the house was built, like the hallways, like it was built as like you would have airflow.
Yeah.
Like you could open the top part of your window and have the bottom part of your window closed.
Yeah.
So the air would circulate. So that's one thing. Also, as you said, you do get used to your environment.
Yeah.
I know one time my uncle came down from New York, and we went out to like the flea market, and we were all like cold, bundled up. And he was just like, oh, this is fine. Like he was in sweater weather.
Yeah.
Well,
it is true because we used to come down here and visit my grandparents for Christmas time. And you go, how we have, sometimes it's 70, sometimes it's 40. You just never know. Well, there was a couple times when I was a kid, it'd be in like the 60s. Well, 60s to us was shorts. 60s to my grandparents was a down feathered jacket. So you would see me and my sister in like sweatshirts, but with shorts on. And my grandparents would be huddled up and they'd be like, put a jacket on. We're like, we're fine. This is nice. Because to us, we were in 20-degree weather or negative degree weather. And then we came here and it was warm and we're like, oh my God. But now my sister gets cold when it's 60. She's like, it's 60 degrees outside. We need to put the heater on. I'm like, what happened to you?
Used to be cool.
Yeah, you used to be a Viking. Now you're a pussycat. Or whatever.
But, I mean, that's my 2 cents.
Well, and also Eskimos, I mean, they build their
little igloos
out of snow and ice, and then it doesn't have a door, and they're fine. So I guess that is a thing. I don't know.
Yeah. They have an igloo cave house.
Yeah. So anything else about this movie?
I really liked how, I seriously have not seen the Flintstones since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like literally a kid, because it's just one of those shows that I'm sure there were repeats on cable, but I didn't have cable.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, but it was not a show that passed my initial childhood. Like there were no more reruns when I was like a teenager or like, a young adult or anything. Like once that era passed for my viewing, then it was gone forever. So I seriously have not seen the Flintstones in ages.
I just always really liked this movie. I have it on VHS.
Oh, did you get the VHS thing plugged in?
No, not yet. No.
Oh my gosh. Is it going to get lost in your house? Like it was lost in my,
no, it's in my room. I know where it is.
It wasn't technically lost.
Actually,
I knew exactly where it was.
We found a whole bunch of cables, so we should be able to get that going. No.
Christmas miracle.
Actually, I have the VHS player. I don't know where my VHS tape is. So that was more of the problem. And I couldn't find it anywhere to stream it. So I ended up just buying it, which is fine because it came with 3 other Christmas movies that I didn't have.
What were the others?
Let me tell you. Hold on.
So anyways, that says tomatoes. That says... Oh my God, wouldn't it be funny to have like a 1920s movie, a wedding theme, right? But like nobody tells the preacher knows, right? The priest like, yo, yeah, we're going to have a theme wedding. He's like, oh really? What's the theme? He's like 1920s, we're going to be like Gaps, and blah, 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 blah. And the priest is like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Okay, I'll get in character too. And they're like, yeah. And so then everybody's gathered, right? And then he starts. How does that thing start? It goes. He'll basically he's gonna say it like a gangster. It's like, we gathered everyone here tonight, Shane, to join this. And then people would like bust out laughing, or like the bride would be like horrified, and the husband will like be laughing, and everybody else is like, what is happening? And then it's like, welcome to this like 1920s theme wedding, Shay, or something.
That would be weird.
I think that would be funny.
It'd be interesting.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You should do a 1920s theme wedding, and then I will tell the priest it's like 1920s gangsta and not tell you, and then like he busts out with like those words.
That would be fun.
For me.
Just for you, for your own shits and giggles.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so the 4 movies, it came with A Miser Brothers Christmas.
Never heard of it.
That's the one that has the frozen guy and the fire guy. That people are always doing TikToks with the makeup. And they're like, I'm Mr. White Christmas.
Oh, it's the little stop motion people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to describe this and you guys were like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
Yeah.
And we just like stop listening and you give up eventually.
Yeah, it's true. And then it's Jack Frost, which I've never seen. So, and it's also claymation. And then there's Yogi Bear's all-star comedy, Christmas Caper.
Interesting.
So there's that. But it's a 4-pack, and there was actually several different kinds. This is just the one I picked. But there's a lot of different ones out there. So I could have gotten the one with just the one, but I thought, well, it's silly to do that.
You might as well get all.
Yeah.
I remember when I watched those little claymations, I was always like, I could do that. That's
right.
Like so easy.
So hard.
And then like one day I actually saw like how it's made type thing. And I was like,
never mind.
Oh, hell no. I could never do that.
No. Actually, there's a episode of Parks and Rec where Adam Scott's character, he does that. He does a stop motion and it takes forever. Forever.
Like,
so,
wow.
Yeah. All right, April.
Yes.
So this is the moment in the podcast where we rate the movie.
I can do that.
April, what do you rate it?
I'm going to rate this movie a 3 out of 10. I have never seen this before, and I will never see this again.
Oh, well, at least that rhymed.
Thank you. I try. Actually, I didn't.
So for me, I've always liked this movie. Again, it's one of my favorite Christmas carols. I can't wait to watch A Diva's Christmas Carol because that's my favorite.
Isn't that what she said about this one?
I said it's between the two of them. I like both. Now I feel like A Diva's Christmas Carol would have been more your jam.
Hey, next year.
But here we are. So yes, I love this movie, but I will give it a 6 out of 10 bedrock bugs.
Bedrock flu.
No, it's a bedrock bug.
Oh, bug. I thought you said something different.
No, I said bedrock bugs.
Okay.
I just added a plural.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for ruining my moment. That's fine.
Thumbs up.
So, folks, I talked to April about maybe changing some things up for next year. So let us know if you're pro changing up things, but this is kind of my thought.
Just
at least
throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Suggestions.
Yes. A few times we want to try, and we're not going to watch a movie, but we're going to talk about like a category. So maybe like best rock movie, movies that have to do with bands or
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah, things like that. And then we also talked about maybe doing where one of us is pros, one of us is cons, and that's all we're allowed to say. We can't say the opposite. We just have to stick to whatever category we're pro or con.
I tell you right now, it's going to be so hard for me to be pro.
I know, that's why it's going to be fun, because I'm usually more
easy for me to be con.
Yeah, and I'm usually the opposite. So I actually kind of dig it. I think if we do a movie that we have seen and it's one that you like and you have to be con and I have to be pro, that'd be fun. And if it's a movie that I hate and I have to be pro, so this could be fun. We might have to bring back the wheel to do a couple of those.
Okay. Oh, we'll make the wheel only with movies we love and hate.
Yeah.
And it better not. And then we'll spin it.
Yeah.
And we just have to do the opposite of what we feel towards that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yes. You know what? Why don't we just try like each episode a different little bit. I was going to say spiel, but like bit.
I like bits.
Yeah, let's do it.
Talked about that earlier.
Let's do it.
I'm pro bit. So yeah, I think that'd be fun. It'll change it up a little. Let us know
if you have any other ideas.
Yeah, send us emails. You can Facebook us. You can tweet us. You can TikTok us. You can Instagram us. All at Two Chicks Talkin Flicks, except for on Twitter. Mm-hmm. That one is just weird and we don't tweet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let us know how you feel. And we will see you on the next episode.
Toodles.
Bye. This episode was produced by Two Chicks Talkin Flicks. Music was produced by Michael Girvani. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to be a part of the show, have a movie suggestion, or just want to give us some love, you can email us at twochickstalkinflicks@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Toodles.